Hey world, my name is Waters. I want to buy this building and turn it into a holistic wellness center and apartment units where everything is integrated. So the people that live here will be able to come downstairs, get in hot tubs, cold tubs, saunas, steam room, float tanks. They can get a massage, there's yoga classes. So with this building, we want to look at having 33 apartment units, studios, 1 beds, 2 beds, and a couple 2-story townhouses. When you live here, included in the rent is access to hot tubs, cold tubs, sauna, steam room, yoga studio, and a state-of-the-art fitness facility. My idea for this, a lot of it came from me just being a massage therapist. I've been doing massage for 12 years now, and I've had this idea, that massage was just putting a Band-Aid on the situation. So people can come to my office, have an incredible experience, relax, calm, they get a peace of mind, and then they go right back into the world that brought them to me in the first place. So this is the 3rd time doing this as a housing development. But the original idea was a holistic wellness center. And what I've learned was people don't want to give me that much space to do something that I haven't proved that I'm capable of doing. So after a while, it just became a lot of no's, but each no allowed me to make the idea better, understand it more, and after iteration, I then started to realize, like, why am I asking people for the ability to pay their mortgage? So it's like, I need to buy a property, pay myself rent. That would be the smart thing to do. And that was how I eventually, after a few times trying to buy a building just for the wellness center, started to realize, like, well, the financials are still the same in the eyes of the bank. They're like, we're not gonna give you all this money for something you haven't proven that you can do. The opportunity came up to buy a very large building, 130,000 square feet, where we were looking previously to purchase 30,000 square feet. So when the opportunity came up to get 130,000 square feet, I decided that I would do 30,000 as a wellness center and then do the other 100,000 as apartments. And that was where the idea for the full integration came into play. This building fit some of the criteria that we have in our search criteria. So we've got, we like opportunity zones, underserved communities. So this was, perfect, especially for when we started researching into Holyoke, sort of what their grand vision was for the city was a lot of the things that were, that we planned to do for cities. So it kind of almost was like a little bit of foreshadowing in there. So every city is pretty much looking to do what our business model is. And that was this, I think there's an awakening in consciousness happening around the need to have more health services. People are starting to realize that it's actually quite profitable to take care of people. This will be an anchor tenant for the city. This entire parking lot is going to get covered in a solar canopy. So it's a little more than an acre of open space. The solar canopy will provide energy for the wellness center, the apartments, the surrounding apartments and businesses, and to the city. We plan to use those profits to subsidize access to the wellness center. So if you can't afford, a massage, we can discount it for you. If you can't afford the acupuncture, we can discount it for you. And this is going to be a pilot model for this integration of housing, healthcare, and renewable energy. One of the visions I have is to set it up in a way where every teacher in the Holyoke Public School can have access to a yearly membership and weekly massages. They could do a massage one week, they could do acupuncture another week, They can do float tanks another week and, mix that in with the hot tubs and the cold tubs and the sauna and the steam, and really promote sort of health and longevity in the people who, essentially help farm our future. That, if we have healthy teachers, they can do their job and actually take care of the kids. It's a stressful situation, especially going through COVID. So I really want to be able to help them out as much as possible, because they help create the future for all of us. Yeah, so June 10th of 2021, I was diagnosed with what's called a vestibular neuroma, the size of a golf ball. Actually, it was 3.8 by 3.2 by 3.1 centimeters. It's a slow growth tumor, so it kind of crept up on me until it presented itself in a really insane way. So it blocked where the cerebral spinal fluid leaves my brain and travels down my spine. That caused me to lose control over my body while I was on a run one day, and I almost died just from the fall. I fell on some back roads that were really rocky, and I almost impaled myself. It was a good time. And so that made me go to the hospital and figure out, I wanted to get some blood tests and see what was going on. And in that process, they took my blood pressure, and it was through the roof. And they were like, oh, okay, this is not good, sir, you can't leave. And so basically my heart was trying to explode. And so they were doing all these tests. The tests ended up coming back negative, which made no sense. And so they decided to do a MRI. The MRI revealed the tumor. And I was like, okay, now we got a problem. So basically they had to install what's called a cerebral shunt. See this little protrusion from my head here? This little guy, it's a pump. Whenever my head fills up with liquid, it pumps it out, goes down these tubes, down my neck, my chest, down into my torso, and then it plugs back into my torso and gets the cerebral spinal fluid, and it gets reabsorbed by my body. I was on the path to build this sort of what I'm calling integrated wellness housing, or burnout prevention housing. I was already on that path, just building it for everyone. While I was in the hospital, almost every day I got to see firsthand what healthcare workers deal with. I had a diagnosis of a brain tumor June 10th. I had surgery to install a cerebral shunt on June 15th. And the second surgery to try to remove the tumor was scheduled for 6 weeks later, or planned for 6 weeks later. And in that time, there was a significant amount of burnout. Nurses left, healthcare workers left, plus COVID was roaring at the same time. So what was supposed to be a 6-week wait turned into a 6-month wait. The tumor was pushing onto my brainstem and cerebellum, so I was losing my ability to walk, my proprioception was off, my balance, I was going blind, and it was causing me to have severe hypertension. It was a pretty brutal 6 months, just in and out of the hospital constantly. So just seeing what these people were dealing with every day was mind-blowing. I had this surgery in December 22nd actually, and recovery began after that. It was a 12-hour surgery that, because they were messing around in that part of my brain, it caused me to have to relearn to walk and the proprioception and balance. They took out the nerve to my right ear. So I lost all the ability to center myself in space physically. I couldn't hear straight, and I had to basically do therapy every day. Speech therapy, OT, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, and just constant visits with nurses. I couldn't remember things. It was hard to process language at times. You know, they got me back. They got me back in order. And so it's like, you know, I owe these people my life. So, you know, knowing what they're still going through, COVID's still roaring. You know, when I was in recovery, I was like, you know, when I'm through with this, I'm gonna direct my attention and the attention of my company to take care of healthcare workers. So that was when I started the Healing the Healers campaign, because really, healthcare workers are everything. The city of Holyoke has been just a pleasure and, you know, honor to deal with. They recently elected Mayor Joshua Garcia, the first Puerto Rican mayor. Holyoke has a 53% Puerto Rican population, so it's just a big win for the culture. So it's been a great connecting with him. Everyone that we've worked with, from the Office of Economic Development with Aaron Vega, Alicia Zoller at the Office of Community Development, they've all been extremely helpful. Mass Development has gotten involved with the situation, so they have a vested interest in Holyoke. It's part of their transformative development initiative. Holyoke is a gateway city and a TDI district. So right now, the focus is healthcare workers. Burnout is the biggest problem we face as a society. So I'm looking to be as supportive as I can for healthcare workers. So this will have 33 units in it, and we're looking for partnerships with the regional hospitals. So you've got Cooley Dickinson, Holyoke Medical, Bay State Medical, Mercy Medical. What else is out here? You got Behavioral Health Network. There's a lot of healthcare-oriented workers out here. Pioneer Valley and specifically Holyoke are over 50%. 50% of their workforce is medical and healthcare. Medical and educational. And those are some of the people that we're looking to serve and prevent burnout. There's a lot of potential partnerships with UMass, the hospital systems, in creating employee wellness programs in hopes to prevent burnout. This would allow hospitals to retain their employees. That's a big problem right now. A lot of nurses and healthcare workers in general just moving into different industries because they're too stressed out. So right now we're trying to raise $100,000. That $100,000 will allow us to initiate a ground lease on the property. With that ground lease, we'll be able to maintain site control into the new year. This project qualifies for significant incentives and grants from the government, being that it's housing, it's healthcare, it's minority owned, it's in the city of Holyoke and a gateway city and what's known as a TDI district, Transformative Development Initiative. It's a program run by Mass Development. All of these things qualify this for a significant amount of money from the government. So, probably in upwards of a few $1 million that it's eligible for. In addition to that, it's about $3.8 million in historic state and federal tax credits. We have a tax credit syndicator prepared to help us syndicate those credits. We have Mass Development and Life Initiative that can bridge those credits into the deal and provide guarantees. Mass Development can also give us the money to buy the building in upwards of $2 million. So the $100,000 just gets us into the new year so that we can engage with all of those programs. And there's also ARPA funding available for all of the things that we're doing: the housing, the healthcare, minority business. So there's a significant amount of opportunity here for us to make big change in a city that could really use it. So with that $100,000, we can, leverage tens of millions of dollars. I'm super excited about this. This is gonna bring a lot of healing into the world. I need your help, guys. Go to GoFundMe, Develop CHI, Healing the Healers. Make a donation, share it with your friends, spread the word, and let's get this healing.